You'd think we'd be further along 50 years after the Fair Housing Act tried to reverse racist government practices. But America is still segregated, and the US housing chief is being sued for not doing more to fix it. This time, I can't just blame Trump. Yeah, Ben Carson is being sued. He's being sued for delaying a rule that would help undo racial segregation, a rule that's 50 years in the making. Okay, here's a quick history lesson. In 1968, just days after civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Fair Housing Act into law.
This bill calls for, it is a broad ban against racial discrimination in the sale and rental of houses and apartments.
But even after the bill was passed, administrations didn't fully comply with it. A key part of the law wasn't fulfilled until 2015, when the Obama administration issued new rules following a Supreme Court decision. Those rules required communities receiving federal housing grants to document racial segregation in their area, because how else would you know if taxpayer funds are reducing or reinforcing housing discrimination? That was the Obama rule, but this is the Trump era. President Trump made Ben Carson the head of Housing and Urban Development. This is the same guy who compared efforts to redress segregation as a failed socialist experiment. So under Carson, the agency said local governments could hold off on doing the housing assessments until at least 2020, because the computer tool they were using was confusing and costly. I don't buy it. Look, an imperfect tool is better than nothing. Segregation is literally built into our cities by the government. During the Great Depression, the Federal Housing Administration insured the mortgages of white people so that they could become homeowners. They literally drew red lines around hazardous communities and refused to back not just their loans, but the loans of people living nearby. And who lived within those red lines? Mostly African Americans. That policy lasted until 1968. So fast forward to today. Unofficial redlining persists in 61 metro areas, from Baltimore to Tacoma, Washington, and those areas are still struggling. Researchers have found that those hazardous neighborhoods are still overwhelmingly Black and Latino, and they also have significantly greater economic inequality. Look, where we live affects everything, from whether we get a decent education to having access to healthy foods. So why aren't we paying more attention to this latest attack on fair housing? The agency says it's working on a new tool to assess segregation. I hope that's true, Ben Carson. Because look, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to know that if you can't track something, you can't fix it. So if you like what you saw, subscribe to the channel, and if there's something that you would like me to talk about, let me know in the comments.